Hey, I'm Butterfly.
Hey, I'm Firefly.
Have you ever wondered if we aren't being told the truth about everything?
What have we been lied to about? Join us as we have conversations and ask questions about everything. We invite you to keep an open mind and consider the unfathomable.
Let's break the chains that enslave our minds. Come on, let's go down the rabbit hole.
What's up, Butterfly?
Hey, Firefly, what's going on?
Let's continue our rabbit hole.
Let's continue.
We began talking about assumptions that we just basically are told by the culture club to just kind of accept.
Yeah,
Like here, this is this, and don't question it.
and this is fact. These are the facts, and this is what you will believe. This is basically that's what they're telling us.
You
This is
know,
what you will believe.
this is what you're gonna believe. Now, I don't care what you think. The cars and the cow farts are killing Gaia, the Earth.
Yeah, the round globe Earth that we're spinning
It's
on
round.
and we're spinning millions of miles an hour, and this is what you will believe, and
You're gonna believe that.
we'll tell you what to think. We will
Not
tell
only
you.
that, but we're gonna give you specific instructions on how to behave because of these assumptions.
Hmm.
Like very, very like kind of drastic and dramatic lifestyle changes that we impose on you.
Exactly, because the Earth might be like doomed. We're gonna tell you these things,
You
and
might die from being too hot or too cold.
yeah,
But what you need to
could go
know,
either way.
what you need to know is you're bad and that you need to move into our 15-minute cities. So that was the next assumption. So what were the assumptions that we talked about last time?
Well, in part one, we talked about the shape of the Earth,
The shape of the earth.
which we have some questions about that.
It could be flat.
Yeah, because we don't really feel like we are spinning millions of miles an hour while simultaneously going around the other, what is it?
The sun.
So
You know what it is?
they want
Is
us to think these things, and we are supposed to accept that without
yeah.
question.
I think once um I'm starting to see what's going on with you because I did this a long time ago, but it's awesome to watch. What happened with you is Cooties and that guy that got basically like he became a saint
Oh
in
yeah.
Minnesota
Yeah.
and they had that those people lives matter.
Yeah.
When you saw all of that, it made you go, "Oh my God, these people are lying."
Yeah, and
And then once you see that they're lying, then you start to go, "What else are they lying about?"
exactly, because when people lie about some really huge things and you see it like plain as day and it's for a fact, you have to start questioning everything they've been telling you because they've probably been lying about a lot of other stuff.
So I think that's what's been going on with you. It happened to me a long time ago, and you start to see holes in everything they tell you.
Hmm.
So then, so they give you some kind of a like assumption that you're supposed to just accept that the Earth is round and that we've been to the moon.
And they just explain these things away with some huge
Gravity.
gravity, for example. They just give you an excuse. Well, it's because of gravity,
It's gravity.
or it's because of carbon dating, or
That was the other one we talked about, where it's like, remember the paleogeneticist is like, we found some direwolf bones. There are two of them. One of them is 11 billion years old, and the other one is 6 billion. And I can determine the difference.
we know the difference between 11 billion and six.
That's an assumption.
The whole dinosaur thing actually really cracks me
It's
up.
pretty funny.
Is that it was our dinosaur episode was one of our very first episodes.
Yes.
Is that the episode where I laughed so hard I could hardly breathe.
Yes. You couldn't contain yourself when I brought up 250 million-year-old bones. That or 250 million-year-old animals.
Those are really old animals.
Yeah, because that's Kool-Aid that they kind of serve you.
Yeah.
It's like if you go to like Channel Islands National Park or you go to some national parks, they'll have Kool-Aid like on the walls that you can read.
Oh yeah,
And it's
totally.
full on like dating of
Yeah.
things and like these birds are prehistoric.
Like like they can determine this stuff like accurately with down to the like billionth year, and it's
And they can tell the difference between 4 billion-year-old bones and 6 billion-year-old bones
yeah, and then
through carbon dating.
they can combine those bones to make one animal. It's so
We have made an assumption
miraculous.
that this is what this animal. See, what it is we've talked about this too in our micromanaging nature.
Yes.
They are giving us these hypotheses.
Yeah.
So they have hypotheses about what they think might be going on,
Yeah. Well,
and then we're supposed to accept them.
like they even admit that, these dinosaur bones that they have on display in museums where they like you can see like the whole
That's what it
dinosaur.
looked like.
They admit that this whole animal that they have on display was remade because they found two bones.
Yeah.
And I used the analogy in our dinosaur episode, I believe it was, of like that would be like finding a button and like a piece of a pocket and being able to reconstruct the entire, you know, wardrobe or the whole jacket or dress and say that
Yeah.
this is exactly what this garment looked like 500 years ago
It'd be like if
based on these two items that
yeah,
we
yeah,
found.
yeah, exactly. It'd be like if you go to the junkyard and you find the ashtray of a BMW
Yeah.
and you go, "This is what this BMW looked like
Hmm.
based on this ashtray. These are what the mag wheels look like, and it had a sunroof." So those are some of the ones that we covered in assumptions part 1.
Yeah.
So we're going into assumptions part 2 because there's so many.
There's so many. I think we
The
could have like 10 parts to
the
this.
reason but what was the reason that we wanted to do this series is because assumptions is part of the culture club agenda.
Yeah,
Because what they want you to do is swallow their Kool-Aid.
exactly. And I think what people should realize is that they tell us these stories that are so outrageous and the explanations are so huge that it's almost impossible for most people to even like question it because they can't wrap their heads around the actual idea of it. Like when you tell somebody that this bone was from an animal 200 million years ago, like 200 million years, like how did
Or
anybody know that?
here's the other one that you're gonna have a hard time like rebuking right off the bat is when they go, so that star is 10,000 light years away. So
Light years.
let me just tell you. So, like, if you were to travel the speed of light for 10,000 years, that's how you
That's
reach
where
that
you would
star.
get,
You would go to that
but
star.
we can see it right here.
We can see it,
It must be huge.
and I can gauge that distance.
Yeah.
Going the speed of light. So the speed of light's pretty fast.
Yeah.
The speed of light is so fast.
Yeah.
Like if you think about the speed of light, it's how fast it takes. So like when you turn the lights on in your room, it's how fast it takes for that light to travel to your eyeball. So it's almost instantaneous.
Right.
So you're going to go like instantaneous travel for 10,000 years, 10,000 years of
Yeah.
instantaneous travel.
And then you'll be at that star.
And we can see it.
Yeah. It must be huge.
So these are the things that these like, and it's always some like fat, dumpy dork telling me this, and I'm
Yeah.
supposed to accept it.
And then you go, but I don't really understand how that works because it doesn't really feel right. It doesn't make sense. And they go, gravity.
That's right. And the thing
Light
is,
years, carbon dating.
you know what? People like Neil deGrasse Tyson, they get mad when we question these things because if you kind of debunk the whole idea of speed of light, it kind of starts to dismantle their whole worldview.
Yeah. Well, those people are totally drunk on the Kool-Aid
They're drunk on the Kool-Aid.
and they're completely brainwashed by some other thing, probably school.
My mom and dad are
And then,
very intelligent people, and they used to watch Cosmos, and they used to totally drink that Kool-Aid.
yeah, so those people brainwash the people watching them.
Yeah,
So they're like triple M's to the P.
but
They're mini megalomaniac
that's
micromanagers.
exactly they're triple M's of people. But you made a good point. What they do is they kind of gaslight you
Yeah,
because you're not going to be able to rebuke someone making an assertion about the speed of light right off the top of your head. Most people
right.
aren't going to be armed with the data to successfully debate that assertion.
No, and they'll be like, "You're a cute female, and
Yeah.
I have a PhD in astrophysics, and I know about gravity, and I
It's
think
like Joe
you
Rogan.
just go back to the mall, little girl.
It's like Joe Rogan when he goes, "These people going down these rabbit holes." I'm a certified rabbit.
I have a degree in rabbit holing.
When I was in junior college, I took astronomy, and I
Mm.
was like really fascinated because I was kind of drinking the Kool-Aid back then. I was like, "Dude, whoa, that's gnarly!" And they were talking about like these stars and how far they were away, and like supernovas and stuff. So I was like learning all about it. And I went up to the professor and I was like, I wouldn't mind being an astronomer. And he's like, you probably won't be. That's what my professor told me.
That's
You
a
probably won't
weird
be.
remark.
Yeah, he
Do you
goes,
think that like, so the teacher of the astronomy class should be excited that one of his students would be considering
yeah,
a
no,
career
that's
in
what I
it?
was serious. I
You
was
know what
like,
I mean?
what I was like, dude, I think I might want to change my focus. Maybe I want to focus on astronomy. Maybe I want to be an astronomer. He was like, no, no, you won't be able to do it. He goes, you would have to be going to MIT, or he named off a bunch of other
Oh,
like
so like
elite
that
colleges.
college that you were at wouldn't
I
be
was in junior
sufficient.
college. No, I was in junior college. So he was like, "You're just inadequate to do this. You're not of
Wow.
the elites. The elites are the only ones that are allowed to
Well,
do this."
maybe he knew what was going on. Maybe
Probably.
he wasn't drinking the Kool-Aid. He was just serving the Kool-Aid.
Because if you go to those elite colleges, like if you go to Harvard or MIT, it's probably only elite families that get their kids in there. Have you
Hmm.
noticed the elite families, their kids always get funneled into these like kingmaker colleges?
Yeah.
That's what astronomy is filled with.
How is
And
that?
why would that be? Because they have to drink the Kool-Aid
Yeah,
in order to serve the Kool-Aid.
exactly.
Because so when you go in there, they go, okay, so you're going to join the culture club because you're going to have to join the culture club in order to swallow the idea that those stars are 10,000 light years away. So, anyways, we have some more to go through
So,
today. So
so
let's
yeah.
begin.
Well, I think the big one that we need to discuss is the glow worm.
Danny Ainge.
Yeah, we like to call it earth
Yes.
modification.
Yes.
So, it's interesting. People, they're actually terrifying, like young people,
Yes.
and they're actually scared of this whole glow warming earth
You
modification
see these
idea.
kids like throwing tomato soup on the Mona Lisa,
Yeah.
freaking out.
And I just talked with this lady. This is so funny. Just a couple days ago, I was talking to this lady, and um she was telling me she was all excited because she was going to be having a grandchild any day. And I was like, wow, that's exciting and stuff, and she was saying how like her daughter kind of waited a long time to have kids because she was really worried about climate change.
Hmm.
So she was actually considering not having children because of I was like, what? I'm like, so like do they think that like the earth is going to be too hot for a
Epiphany.
baby?
Epiphany. Remember I told you about that. You didn't watch it, but the movie Idiocracy.
Yes.
Remember, so the white trash dude in the trailer park, he just comes inside and has a bunch of kids with all the white trash
Oh,
in the trailer park.
okay, literally. Yeah.
But the other dude and the lady, they're like super prudent, and they're like,
Yeah.
with climate change and climate change, with climate change, what we have to be careful to bring a kid in, and they're
Yeah.
so. I think
It's
that's part of the
weird.
Kool-Aid. They want you to kind of get to the conclusion. It's like, no, you know what? It's not prudent for us to reproduce
Yeah.
because Gaia is sick and humans are a virus.
Well, they want to reduce the population, and so they've got all these other things in place that we've talked about on previous episodes to do that. But if they can just like convince a lot of people that it's just not a good idea to have kids and the people go along with it, then that helps their effort too.
Like,
You know what I mean?
those people might listen to AOC, and she's like, Clyda Ainge is our World War II. Like,
Yeah.
we only have 10 years left.
Yeah, isn't
And
that what Al Gore said
Al Gore,
like 30 years ago too?
exactly. And that's the Kool-Aid that they serve you. Like, we've only got 10 years left.
Yeah,
We've hit a tipping point. We're all going to be
we're all
doomed.
doomed.
And when a young 20-year-old drinks that Kool-Aid, they're going to go, I don't want to get married and have a kid.
Yeah.
I need to just go kill myself.
Everything's just gonna like be too hot, or it might be too cold. I don't know. It's kind of, I mean, then that goes back to, the whole dinosaur story because remember they had the ice age
That's
And
right.
then, like, everything got really hot.
It got really hot, it got really
Really
cold,
cold.
and we're running out of oil because the dinosaurs only left so much from their bones.
I know, they were very generous that they left enough for 200,000,000 years, but it's about to run
So
out.
that's the other thing they want you to swallow down scarcity.
Mm,
They want you to
mhm.
move into their 15-minute scarcity, and they
Scarcity.
want you to swallow down the assumption that there's scarcity.
That's another good point, scarcity.
That's
They
right.
they want us all to think that everything is running out.
There's not enough oil
There's
in
not
the
enough
bones.
yeah, there's not enough of all of these things for all of us. So
They're doing that in our
some of us got to go.
they're doing that in our area with the water.
Yeah.
They just raised the water prices, and they're
Yeah.
kinda, like, suggesting there's just not enough.
Yeah. So I'm just like gonna start drinking less water
So I think
or
what they
taking
do
less
is
showers.
that's another assumption. They tell us prices of stuff because of, supply and demand, but
Yeah.
they rig supply.
Totally. And with the water thing, that makes me really mad because who owns our water? How can they say we own the water and we're going to sell it to you?
Yeah.
You know?
There's something weird going on there,
Yeah.
but that's another assumption that they use. So they use these assumptions as control mechanisms.
Totally.
So that was Ainge. We've talked about that. That's a huge one because they want you to feel like you're destroying Gaia and
Mhm.
you need to stop eating meat. And what that whole Kool-Aid, that assumption, what is it doing? It's if you drink the Kool-Aid like a 20-year-old traumatized kid, you're probably not going to go start a family. You're probably going to be like, "Oh my God, I don't want to eat meat and I don't want to have a nice house with a yard. I want to live in a 15-minute coffin until I die." And I want to Ted Turner says I should hurry up and die for the earth.
Mhm.
And those people, I think they really believe that.
It's sick.
I think there's young people walking around thinking that their existence is
Now,
bad for the earth.
that's a doom and gloom way to live.
Totally.
That's like even worse than a black pill.
And the Culture Club is instilling that in our young
I
people in
know.
schools.
It's so awful.
So what was the next one?
Well, what about endangered species?
That's another Kool-Aid that they give us.
Endangered
They do.
species.
Like they go, the polar bears are like on the verge of collapse. Like there's not any of them left. But meanwhile, there's some lesbian out there going, these polar bears here in Antarctica, they need to go to the other side of the beach. And then when they move like all 800 of them over, there's like one left. They take a picture of him and they go, this bear is endangered.
He's all by himself.
He's
And
alone.
he's probably just the one that was like, I'm not moving, lady.
Ah. What they do is they show one polar bear like on a chunk of ice and they go,
He's all by himself.
Ainge is destroying his habitat.
Look at him. He's just
Like,
floating out
yeah,
there.
he's like what they'll do, I've seen this exact image. They'll because like there's big chunks of ice in the water in Antarctica.
Uh-huh.
So the polar
Or
bears would go
so
swimming around and
or
then
so we've been told.
so we get told. So the polar bear goes swimming around, then he gets on a chunk of ice and he takes a rest from swimming.
Mhm.
They take a picture of that polar bear like on a chunk of ice and they go, his whole habitat is melting
This is
away.
all he has left.
Yeah, so
This one,
yeah.
he's living on an ice cube.
Exactly. So, what they want to suggest is that his whole habitat is melted, and now he's just left on like a one little island, and he's gonna die any day.
And he just has to stay on that one little chunk of ice.
That's what they
Poor
do. That's
thing.
what they do. So they do the endangered species a lot because
That guilt trips the libs.
I took biology in junior college, and this was late 90s. And the first thing they teach you is they have this graph and it shows the die off of species. And it's like this huge funnel. And it's like, they try to put forth this notion that like every 4 seconds another species is going extinct.
Mm,
And I'm like, dude, that means in one day, like thousands of species are going extinct. I
yeah.
don't know. How many species are there? And if there's millions, then who cares if
Well,
we're
maybe Mother Nature wants them to go
it,
extinct.
I, you know, it's kind of like those invasive birds out on the island, and they
Yeah.
go, "Well, we tagged these ones on their beaks with with the blue ribbon because they're invasive." We're supposed to just accept a lot of these things, and we don't even know how many species there are and what's gone bad because science is hijacked. So they use science to control people.
Yeah.
So there's not real scientists going out and collecting real data
No.
and honestly looking at things.
They're just like, I'm a scientist and I got this information from my micromanager above me, and I'm going to spew this information out to the world on the news tonight.
Thank you for pointing that out because we've talked about the triple M's to the P. So triple M to the P is the mini megalomaniac psychopath micromanagers, and they get turned into that from Larry Fink, who's the megalomaniac psychopath at the top. But they do that with information as well. So they brainwash their minions to go sell the organic wine in the pyramid scheme.
Yeah.
So then that minion has to go sell the organic wine, and they have to go tell everybody, this wine's organic. These are organic grapes.
And they just
That's
basically,
why it's $15.99 a bottle.
so all of these characters repeat what they've been told, and most of them, I mean, probably like 99% of them never actually look into the information themselves to find out if it's true. They just like repeat what they've been told. And
Nobody
that's
verifies anything.
no, that's how the whole cooties fiasco went down, you
Well,
know?
that was that pyramid scheme when the girl in my sales on my sales team started selling the organic wine in the pyramid scheme.
Hmm.
And she was like, Firefly, come sell this wine. And then she told me the Kool-Aid, and she drank the Kool-Aid. And I asked her, I was like, how do you know the grapes are organic? Have you verified it? She's like, no, but they told me. I was like, well, there you go. So you don't even know. It could be just that could just be grape juice that they're just putting in a bottle and then they add a little bit of liquor to it.
Right.
You have no idea, but you're just totally espousing that she had this full on like 5 minute spiel about where the grapes came from and how they were prepared and everything, but none of it's verified.
Mm.
So people drink Kool-Aid and then they go and serve Kool-Aid.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem. They drink it and then
They
serve
drink
it.
it, but see, you have to swallow it in order to serve it.
Yeah.
See, I drink Kool-Aid and then it kind of makes me puke.
Well, um, I think some of them actually don't swallow it. I think some of them know better and they're serving Kool-Aid. Those are the real psychopaths. The
Yes.
ones that are serving the Kool-Aid, but they know better
Yeah.
and they're just spreading the light. That's the Larry Fink. And maybe a couple rungs below him, there might be some people like that too, you know?
It has nothing to do with truth. It's about control.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what these people have. That's what we talked about in the micromanagement episode of they have this meddling gene
Yeah.
where they have to control everything.
Yeah,
And part of that is the Kool-Aid tells them to go meddle.
exactly.
So now you have the girl who's the micromanaging you out on the island, and she's going, those birds are invasive.
Mm-hmm.
She's drank the Kool-Aid. Now she's serving it to you. So you have to understand that that bird's invasive, you know?
Totally.
So that was the other one. So
So,
it's endangered species. And,
yeah,
we're living on this dying planet and we're killing off look at this. Like, how are you going to rebuke that? Somebody shows
exactly.
you a list of, here's what they'll do. They'll say, they'll hand you a list of a bunch of animals, like 1,000.
Hmm.
And they'll go, these all went extinct this year. Every single one of those.
Oh my
So
gosh.
what are you going to do? Go like produce one of these monarch butterflies and go, here's one right here.
Yeah,
You're like, you don't have the
exactly.
capacity to rebuke an assertion like that.
Yeah.
And they know that.
So they make up these outrageous, like almost like fairy tales, but they're more like horror stories. And they paint the picture so huge that people just kind of go, "Oh, okay." So when you're a little kid and you're in first grade and the teacher has like the planets hanging from the ceiling
Oh, yeah.
and they're showing you like, look, here's the earth and here's the moon and here's the sun and this is what happens and we're spinning millions of miles an hour. Little kids like know that that makes no sense, but they're like, whoa, like how, most
You
of
know
them
what's
aren't going to
interesting
question
about
them.
little kids? Little kids are intuitively,
They know
they're
more.
trusting of adults.
Yeah,
So little kids, because they look to adults and they really like. Have you ever noticed like little kids, even if some dude's kind of a kook, if they go on a field trip with them, they'll like listen to him and obey him and respect him
yeah,
because he's an adult.
right.
Little kids kind of intrinsically do that.
Yeah.
So when you're an adult and you tell some kid Kool-Aid, they're going to swallow that Kool-Aid. And that's messed up.
It's messed up. And that's why they want all the kids in, public schools, I mean, even private schools, and they want to just tell them all these things when they're young. Because if you never told people any of this, and like, say you were, 15 years old and you said this to somebody, they'd probably be be asking
That's
questions,
right. And look
you
at
know?
how you and I have both kind of had this experience where now, as old as we are, 39 each, um, we've come to the conclusion that we've been lied to all our lives, and it's kind of traumatizing
It is.
because you're like, "Oh my God, I've been lied to about so many things." Then you start to realize, what have I been lied to about? What are all the things I've been lied to about? And so that's the insidious thing about it is being lied to as a kid. We swallowed some of the Kool-Aid that we have to kind of like throw up now.
Exactly. And I think for a lot of people, well, for one, it's like these things that we're talking about are pretty huge and they're just fundamental parts of like our whole world, you know.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to wrap your head around the fact that all of these things that we thought to be true may not be. But I think there's also an aspect of like bruised egos involved.
Oh,
I think a lot of people, I mean, we saw this with the cooties too, like a lot of people would much rather just, dig their heels in and refuse to change instead of accepting the idea that possibly they were wrong. And,
like you go,
you
"Did you
know,
get the pokies?" And they go, "Yeah, but I had to fly."
yeah.
And you're like, "Well,
You're like, well, then, so you knew it was
I,"
wrong and you still did it.
and you go, "Well, this is what they kind of freak out about." They go, you go, "Well, I didn't take the pokies and I've flown several times."
Hmm.
And they go, "What?" And you go, "Well, yeah. So you went and got the pokies to fly and you didn't need to."
Right.
And then they go, "I can't accept that. I needed to get the pokies. It kept me from the hospital. I would have gotten sicker." Okay, whatever. But I think that's exactly it. They can't come to terms with the fact their ego won't let them, because we've talked about this. I would have been bummed if I got duped into taking the pokies,
Yeah.
you know?
But I mean, it's just, like we always like to say, it's important to keep an open mind. I mean, you really can't grow as a person unless you keep an open mind and are willing to, learn new things and change. I mean, like, you didn't have all the same ideas like 35 years ago that you have now, right?
No.
So it's like the idea of just never changing and never accepting that things might not be as the way that you thought they were is sort of a stagnant way to live. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's important to be able to accept that you were wrong at one point, or maybe things aren't quite the way you thought they were, and
You
look
know what
into
that
other
makes me think
ideas.
of? Have you ever heard of the founder's trap?
No.
So, when you start your own business, some people will start their own business, and whether it's a man or a woman, there's two men and women both have this trait when they start their own business. Some business leaders will be like, "My way or the highway." And they won't take input from anybody else, and their company will get driven into the ground because they are incapable of taking other people's advice. They insist on running every single aspect of their company, but they might have a blind spot that somebody else sees. So you always have to be open to other people's input.
Right.
But I think people these days, they get locked in their way of thinking and they're not open to these things that we're talking to about.
Right. Or there's people who are not open to changing. Like if something isn't working, like maybe your business, there's some aspect to it that's not working and you just keep doing it the same way. Like
Yeah,
you've got to be able to change to grow and improve.
like, for instance, maybe you've been in business for a long time. Like, my dad started a golf shop back in the '80s. Let's say if it was still open now, maybe the way that he advertised back then is not viable anymore. You have
Yeah.
to advertise differently now because we have a different world. But, he's locked in his old ways and he's not hearing it. He's like, "No, I don't accept all this."
Yeah.
That's how people can kind of be. They
Yeah.
get locked into their ways. And I think that's an ego thing.
I think so.
And I think that might be what's going on now because we're trying to wake people up and red pill people.
Red
We
pilling.
want to red pill you because we want to white pill you too, but
Yeah.
we have to first red pill.
Yeah.
Some people are not red pilled yet.
No. I think probably if they're listening to us, they're probably red pilled.
They're probably red pilled.
Yeah, and we like so red pill is being awake and knowing that these things are happening, but I think even for a lot of red pill people, some of these ideas are a bit extreme. and it's hard to like wrap your head around these
Like, I
days.
could see even some people that are kind of on board with what we're saying, kind of believing that there's a bunch of endangered species. I think that could be totally Kool-Aid,
It could be. And we're just asking questions,
you know?
because how do, like you said, how can you prove it? What about viruses? What about diseases like, viruses like measles or
Mm.
COVID and even AIDS? I mean,
I'm starting
there's,
to think my hypothesis about AIDS is that AIDS was complete Kool-Aid, and the people who died of AIDS, like Freddie Mercury, remember he was like in the 80s,
they were the ones that were taking
AZT.
the cocktail.
And who was behind that? It was Fauci. It was the Fauci ouchies.
Mhm,
So he gave them the drugs that killed them.
I think so.
I don't think AIDS existed. I think AIDS was total Kool-Aid. Because remember the backstory of AIDS was like, well, a guy
Monkeys.
had sex with a monkey in
Yeah.
Africa, and now,
And we believed that. It was scary.
dude, I freaked
It's
out.
like the bat and the what is it? The bat and the
Mandolin, the
mandolin in
pendulum,
the
what are they called?
in the wet market in
Uh,
Wuhan, and that's how the whole cooties started.
so he got a soup at the wet market, and he started
It
convulsing,
was
and
made out of bats
it
and
was bats, and they had some kind of a virus.
was he eating that? Maybe he deserved
Yeah.
it, whatever. He's kidding.
Plus, he immediately got on a plane from Wuhan to Los
He was
Angeles.
feeling woozy in Wuhan.
He was like, I'm going to LA.
And his virus germs jumped to the person he was sitting next to. It's just like that movie Contagion.
I mean,
I mean, they showed like
remember
the
right?
path of the virus from
Remember in
person to
like
person.
remember in like January of 2020, they had video of like Chinese dudes like convulsing and foaming at the mouth on the street.
And dropping in the gutters.
And
Yeah.
they're just like sitting there shaking around. And it
Uh,
was like, dude, I never saw that from anybody.
I never saw that either. And that's when I started asking questions. I'm like,
Uh,
I see the same homeless dudes on this corridor that I drive
oh
by like
yeah.
every day, and they're still here. Like it's been a couple months. They don't look very clean. They're not washing their hands. And how come they're not dropping in the gutters like those Chinese guys?
Well, the other thing about viruses that we are told to accept is that there are these things like viruses and bacteria, and that's how you get sick, and you got to wash your hands. And there's some people who say that's all Kool-Aid.
Hmm.
There is
There's
there's no such thing as
there's
viruses.
people that say that. I don't know. I'm not really sure. I think there's bacteria for sure because you can see that growing. Like you can see, isn't mold a bacteria or is that something different?
Um, yeah, I
But
think
you
that's a
can,
bacteria. But what they give us these assumptions that when you catch a cold, it's because of this.
yeah.
When you catch the flu, it's because of this. But
Could it be because of stuff they're spraying on us?
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Could
Mhm.
that be could cooties have been poisoned?
Yeah, I think,
Not a virus.
yeah, totally. And, it's interesting. I listened to this one doctor talk about this during the cooties, and he said that every flu outbreak in history coincided with an increase in electromagnetic activity. So every like
Oh yeah, that's
the
right.
1918 flu, I guess they had just like launched this huge new all these big radio waves were going through the world at that time. And he said every major flu outbreak has coincided with another increase in electricity, basically
What's that
happening.
one blonde doctor's name? Dr. Merritt or Dr. Merrill?
Yeah, Merrick,
Merrick.
Lee Merrick.
I love her.
Yeah, she's cool.
And she was talking about the Spanish flu.
Mm-hmm.
She was talking with this Indian girl, and it was like 3 years ago.
Mm.
I used to listen to her. She would go on the Alex Jones show and have like the fourth hour.
Oh,
Remember
really?
Lee Merritt? Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And she would have guests. That's when, dude, Alex used to be cool. I
I
used to
know.
get a lot of useful information from Alex
Well, I
because
think
they're
that was the old
guests.
Alex.
That was the old Alex.
I don't think it's the same guy.
So Lee came on and she had this Indian girl who was like she worked in some lab too. So they both studied viruses, and they started talking about uh, the 1918 Spanish flu,
Mm-hmm.
which had nothing to do with Spanish. It wasn't Spanish at
Yeah.
all, and it
No.
wasn't a flu. It all started from this military base in Kansas.
Mm.
and it was started by injections that they were giving people.
Interesting.
That's what she said.
Well, I think that that may have been how AIDS was started too.
Yeah,
Injections.
because they've got these BSL-4 biolabs. They have 460 of them around the world,
They're like making this stuff.
and Trump has not closed any of them down.
And I think I mean, talk about like psychopaths. Like, what kind of psychopath is it that, like, can you imagine just saying, oh, when I grow up, I want to make deadly viruses in a lab and like be able to release them onto the public? I mean,
Are those
that's
people
psychopathic.
are those people severanced? And you go, "What did you do today, honey?" And they go, I don't know, but what's for dinner?" Now there's another theory
That's
though,
what I,
but we had another theory.
yeah.
So they're either severanced
They're
or
either psychopaths or they're
they're
severance, meaning they
psychopaths.
have no idea what they did all day because
Yeah,
they're like under some kind of mind control,
yeah.
or
What was the other one?
they're clones.
They're clones,
Yeah.
because clones can be used to carry out evil shit without having their conscience burdened.
Oh my gosh. So I just had an epiphany.
Epiphany, epiphany.
So, with all of these assumptions, with these huge, outrageous stories that they tell us that we just accept and believe,
Yeah,
what if there's like an equal number of outrageous stories that are actually true that they don't want us to know about and don't want us
yeah.
to believe, like clones, for
Like
example?
clones. Like, well,
You
that
know what
guy
I
came
mean?
out in 71 and he was like in Time magazine going, human cloning is real. And this is 1971. So
Yeah.
that means it's 54 years ago.
So they've probably perfected it by now.
That's a long time.
Hmm.
54 years of 40-hour work weeks of perfecting cloning.
In fact, Disney probably already like had his head reattached to one of them by now,
I
and
wonder if
he's
that's
out
how it
there.
works. They
Yeah.
reattach the head.
Well, he had his head frozen supposedly.
He
So,
did have his head frozen, but my understanding was that he wants to take his brain and his consciousness and upload it into AI when the technology is available so that he lives forever in AI. But I never thought about that. So maybe they cryogenically freeze people now and then they use their
they're
brain and they put their head on a clone body.
yeah,
And now you're yourself again with a new
a new
young
body.
clone body.
Yeah.
But is your face all old? I don't know.
I don't know.
They're like, no, 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 we do plastic
We
surgery
have
for that.
plastic surgery for that.
So now Walt Disney's actually back to being CEO of Disney again. He takes over from Iger. He's like, I'm back. Excuse me, I'm taking back.
I started this thing.
It's like you know, how about he's like working out like RFK Jr. He's like doing push-ups.
But if you're gonna come to my house, you need
Oh yeah. By the way, I'm married to a Hollywood actress, and if you want to come to my Christmas party, you need to get the vaccines. But excuse me, the CDC is just a vaccine peddler. You should still
you should still do what they say.
you should still observe the CDC guidelines.
But yeah, so what about all of these viruses? Like, I'm starting to think that, you know, measles and all these things, like, they made up these things to get people to get these vaccines.
It's totally.
And like I have a friend who was like, "Well, I know that the polio vaccine saved my life." And I'm like, "Well, actually, I saw a whole bunch of
People were paralyzed from it.
I know, but I saw a whole bunch of documents about how whatever they call polio was actually caused by DDT being sprayed on people.
Yeah.
The DDT that they were spraying at the time was like, they were spraying it on crops and stuff, and it was going into the water, and people were becoming paralyzed, and they were like, "Oh, it's polio," and then like they gave everybody polio shots, which actually paralyzed a lot more people.
Alex Jones or Daniel Day Lewis, whoever that is that's speaking, talks about its mother. And its mother took the polio shot and used to be a swimmer and then got like debilitated from the polio shot.
Oh, I believe that.
So, I think there's a lot of assumptions in these viruses and shots and like precautions that you're supposed to take.
Hmm.
Remember when we had to go get our AIDS test?
Yeah,
What if getting an AIDS test was just their way to like store your blood?
right. Well, and also, wasn't that a PCR test? It
It
was.
probably was.
So maybe a lot of those people were told that they had AIDS and you need to be on this medication, and maybe they really didn't.
Because
They probably
Carey Mullis, the inventor of the PCR test, he said in no uncertain terms that this should not be used to determine if someone has infectious
right. They
disease.
probably said, "Are you a homosexual male?" And you said yes, and they were like, they
I did not say yes.
and they put you on a list, and they were like, "Okay, he's going to be positive."
I was thinking the same thing
Yeah,
because when I went to go take the test, they ask you questions. So they're building a profile.
they're building a profile. Why? Shouldn't it just be an anonymous thing that you like? Who cares? It's just blood.
Yeah, that's interesting. Same thing with we had a recent thing that we were talking about that did that, like 23andMe
Hmm.
and the new PCR test where they shove the Q-tip.
Up
So
to your brain.
I'm thinking testing to see if you have a virus is actually DNA collecting and testing. Because if they do have huge cloning programs, they want to sift through all of our DNA and find out what's the best.
Right.
So they need to get lots of samples.
Hmm.
So we're going to tell you that there's a virus out there and you need to go get a test.
Hmm.
And no, 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 no. You can, but even though we could have collected DNA from your mask, we're going to shove a 6-inch Q-tip up your nose until it hits the
The
porous part of
and
your bone of your
get
brain.
some brain matter.
And remember, Dr. Day was saying they put nanotechnology on people's brains with that.
Totally.
And and the way people are acting, I'm starting to believe
I
that.
know, because some of these people, like, not only are they on their 10th booster, but they've probably had like 50 PCR tests up their nose. You know what I mean? They were
And
like testing, like,
they
I
act
gotta,
accordingly.
yeah, I gotta take a test for work or whatever. And they'd be testing like every week, and they've probably been doing it nonstop all these years.
I went down to the harbor this weekend
Mm-hmm.
and it was packed.
Oh, really?
And I was cruising around because they had a boat parade, right? It's
Oh, yeah.
freezing cold, and these people are watching the boat parade, and I was like, "You guys are lame." But I was looking at the populace, and the populace looks ignorant and unhealthy
Totally.
and degenerate.
Mm-hmm.
And you can tell that they've been rendered into that state by all of these assumptions and lies. This is all a big manipulation. Do we have any other ones? There was another one that came
What
up.
about electric cars?
Electric
That's
cars.
a good one.
Well, why is that a good one? Because there's a few assumptions there.
Hmm.
One of them that we got to talk about is, did they invent a car that runs on water and kill the guy that invented that?
Yeah. Ugh.
So then maybe electric cars are actually not the viable. Maybe they have one that runs on water.
Yeah. Basically, you could just be driving around for free. Although with the price of water nowadays, it'd probably be expensive too.
They don't like that.
Maybe that's why they raise the prices, the water
Yeah,
prices, because the water run cars are gonna actually like make a an appearance.
they're going to be like, well, now
Now water is like eighty
because
dollars a gallon.
you know what the culture club does not like the idea of free, abundant energy.
Yeah.
They don't like that.
No.
So they want us corralled into like their whole.
Well, they don't want free anything. So I was thinking, I don't know, this might be going off on another tangent, but I was thinking like, why do we have to have like a license to like go fishing? You know what I mean? Like all the fish in the ocean, like are people are gonna like fish so much that the ocean is gonna run dry and there won't be any fish left. So you have to pay for a license to go fishing.
And then
Like,
you have limits on how much you
yeah.
can take.
And then
I
like,
don't know, maybe,
who are
but
you paying?
that's
I mean,
true.
who owns those fish?
That's
So you're
true.
paying the state or whatever for to go fish. Do they own those fish? That seems weird to me.
You know,
You know?
I had to do laundry at the laundromat last night,
Oh.
and I was talking with the laundromat owner, and he's really cool. And he goes to our city council meetings,
Oh.
and he was saying that the city council members, do you know how
Mm,
much they make a year?
a lot.
450,000 a year.
What?
$450,000 a year. That's what our city council
That's
members make.
outrageous.
And he said, having a business in this town is almost impossible
Yeah.
because of how much you have to spend to the city.
Mm-hmm.
And that money is going to fund these people's exorbitant salaries.
Right. That's crazy.
So there's all of this like
And
opaque.
if you and I wanted to become a city council member, we'd probably never get hired.
No,
It's all
because the
culture club.
Culture Club sponsors people.
Yeah, and they sort of just show up. Like these people sort of just like come on the scene from like they're placed here from up above. You know what I mean?
Like Rob McCoy, who just kind of shows up in our protest movement and goes, by the way, come to Godspeak.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, my dad was in the CIA, but don't worry about that.
Yeah.
So here in electric cars, the other assumption is Clyde.Ainge is
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
And driving your gas, gas is going to be, first of all,
It's running out.
the bones, we don't have that many more dinosaur bones.
Yeah.
There's only a small stack left. So we got to find an alternative.
Yeah.
But the other one is whenever you drive your car, your emissions are killing
Yeah.
Gaia.
You're leaving a huge carbon footprint.
There's a
We're
hole.
gonna tax you for
Here's
that.
another Kool-Aid. Have you ever heard this Kool-Aid? There's a hole in the ozone layer.
Yeah.
Have you heard that?
It's because you use too much hairspray.
So wait a second. You're talking about the atmosphere, which doesn't have any physical components. How could there be a hole in it?
Yeah.
It's an atmosphere.
It's like somebody poked a little hole in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be like if you ever read the Garfield cartoons when Odie thinks and it's got
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
little cloud. It'd be
Totally.
like if somebody put a hole in that cloud of
Yeah.
you what you're
And
thinking.
all the thoughts escape.
That's like what a hole in the ozone layer is.
Yeah.
So that's total Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
So that's another Kool-Aid that goes into electric
And
cars.
you know what I think is hilarious is the way that the electric car people think that like by using electricity, they're not tapping into the
Yeah, remember the lady? The lady, oh my God, that was real.
it's like you just plug it in the wall.
And the guy
That's
goes,
where it comes
where
from.
does that electricity come from? And she goes, that building. And she was serious.
People think that, you know, they just like plug the thing into the outlet and that's where the electricity comes from. It's not actually coming from like any kind of, you know, sources like oil or anything like that. No, that doesn't happen. It's just electricity.
That's another assumption that, yeah,
Mhm.
the other thing I think they like about the electric cars that we talked about is you can get anhashed with an electric
Totally.
car.
And that
Big
I
time.
think that's part of their plan.
I think
They can
so.
control them and they can prevent you from going
Like if you have a
somewhere.
57 Chevy, the Culture Club can't really control that at all.
No.
As long as you put a carburetor on that bad boy, put gas in it, you're going to be cruising.
No.
But if you have an electric car, they can do stuff like just kind of remotely shut it off.
Yeah. Or they can just be like, we've decided there's a blackout. What do they call them? Rolling blackouts.
Rolling blackouts.
And so you just can't have any electricity for the next 3 days. So your electric car won't even run.
I saw this lady, they're interviewing her. It was like 3 in the morning in Chicago, and it had to be like 10 below zero. It was like freezing cold. It's 3 in the morning, and she's plugging in her Tesla and waiting for it to charge because the Tesla charging stations are in such demand in this part of Chicago that she can never get a available one until 3 in the morning. So she has to get out of bed, and it's 10 below outside. She has to get dressed and go plug in her Tesla, and I don't even know how long it takes to.
That doesn't sound very convenient.
But then she's talking about how much she loves her Tesla. She's like in the interview, it's freezing and it's 3 in the morning, and she's going, "I love my Tesla."
But I would do it's like those people that like were in the hospital on their deathbed. They're getting the pokey poke and they were like, but it worked great. I would do
No,
it again.
the worst one was the one girl. She's like, I'm paralyzed from the chest down, but I just had a bad reaction. I'd do it again.
I'd do it again.
Or it's like the girl who goes to Pakistan and she goes, I got groped by like hundreds of third world barbarians, but I'm not ethnocentric or anything. I'm not xenophobic. They're wonderful people. And look at the squalor. It's so pretty. I think what they do is, I think it gets back to what you're saying. Their ego can't fully accept that they've been duped.
No, and also, I think like for them, the gaslighting is actually like they're actually like lapping it up. So they're like,
They're not getting gaslit, they're getting electric car lit.
exactly. So they go to Pakistan and like they're taking pictures of squalor and like dust and they're like, isn't it beautiful?
It's
Because
so
they were
pretty.
told it was beautiful.
Look at this cultural experience. There's those ramshackle huts, And look at that guy is like putting his whole arm into this stew that I'm about to buy on the street. And he just got done taking a dump on the street. And now he
They
put
don't
his
use
whole
toilet
arm
paper.
into the pot and he's like stirring it and then he just serves me some. And I love that. It's so cultural.
That's cultural. Oh my
Do
gosh.
we have any more?
I think this was a great part too. I think,
Are there any more on the list?
well, you know what? I don't have any on today's list, but
That was a good one.
I think this is gonna be an ongoing series because we keep thinking of more and more. And you know what? I'd like to address our listeners.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I bet you there's people listening to this and they probably are going, "Oh, oh, oh, me." Like I have an idea. I know an assumption. So if you're one of those people and you have an assumption that you were told to believe that we missed, that we didn't discuss, please leave us a comment because we would love to add that to our next episode in this rabbit hole series.
Absolutely. And please comment about anything that you guys feel about us. If you hate us, if you love us, because the only comments I ever get are do you want to make your podcast grow? I can help you.
Here, give me your credit card.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, so, actually, we got a couple of really nice comments from people.
Couple.
They thought we were funny.
Well, yeah, we've gotten the little bit of feedback that we've got has been positive,
I know.
but we've done almost 130 episodes and we've gotten 2 comments.
Bet
That sounds fishy.
it's a little fishy. I bet the Indian dudes are listening right now and they're like, let's say something mean to Firefly.
We will make some
We'll
comments.
make some comments.
Here's the other
Let's
thing
say
that
something mean.
the Indian dudes are like, you have been downloaded in over 100 countries, but you only have 106 followers. Plus, you've had 106 followers for about 3 months now.
Yeah.
You have not gotten any new followers.
So there's like one follower in each country, but there's like two in three other countries.
It is
A
like yes.
couple of countries, there's two.
And by the way, when you guys only had 6 followers, you had a couple of episodes that had 350 views within a couple of hours. But now that you have exponentially more followers, you have way less views. But that's just a coincidence, nothing to see here.
That's the way it works. That's organic.
Firefly, you are not going to catch fire. You're gonna be
We're squashing you.
yes, we are going to extinguish your fire, Firefly.
Nobody's gonna extinguish our fire.
No, they can't.
No, they can't.
That was a good one.
That was good.
All right, good seeing you.
You too.
Okay, talk to you soon.
Bye.